guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to do the last episode of my Thanksgiving dinner series. We're going to do the desserts. And it's not just any dessert, it is a pumpkin cheesecake with a ginger snap crust. And I'm telling you, your guests will love this. You'll love this. I get many requests for cheesecakes throughout the year, but this is my special Thanksgiving cheesecake. So stay tuned and I will show you how to get that started. Okay, to get started with your pumpkin cheesecake, you will need a 9-inch springform pan. Any brand will do. I have lined mine, the outside of it, with tin foil because we will be doing a water bath. So go ahead and do that to get it started. And the next part you'll want to do is the crust. To that we will need 1 cup of ginger snaps, chopped up, or like a loose granule. If you do not have a food processor, you can always put it in a Ziploc bag and kind of beat the crumbs out of it, and that works nicely. I've used that for years. So 1 cup of ground ginger snaps, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and a 1/4 cup of melted butter. And you're just going to want to combine that until it's kind of like a sand consistency. Spatula. And if you find that it's too dry, go ahead and add maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of butter at a time. You don't want to get it too wet because then it won't ever form into a nice crispy crust. And you kind of want that. There we go. Okay, it's a nice consistency we have going on there. Okay, to our springform pan, you're going to want to grease it with cooking spray liberally or butter. Butter would work probably better. I'm just working with what I got today. And then you're just going to want to pour your the crust mixture right on in there. Spread it out kind of evenly as best you can. And then what I like to do is just take a cup, or in this case a mug, and kind of press from the middle out to the edges. It doesn't have to look pretty, no one's going to see this part anyways. Okay, and that's it. That's the first step in your pumpkin cheesecake. Now I'm going to want to add this to my oven that is preheating right now. It'll be at 350 degrees, and I want to bake that for 7 minutes and then take it out, and then we'll be ready for the next step. So I'll see you then. Okay guys, we're back. My crust, my ginger snap crust has baked in the oven for 7 minutes and it started to cool. So we'll just set that aside for now and let it continue cooling while we make the pumpkin cheesecake filling. This is delicious, I promise. Keep with me. I've got 2 packages of cream cheese here, 8 ounces each. They're both at room temperature. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. And 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. I'll be back in just a second. I gotta get my mixer. Okay guys, we are back. I have my mixer now. We're gonna go ahead and combine the cream cheese, the sugar, and the vanilla. So this is your chance to turn down your volume if you're wearing headphones. once that's combined really nicely, we're going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of sour cream. And to that, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of whipping cream. Now, I've got my measurements all kind of measured out here, but to that I'm going to add 3/4 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/3 teaspoon of ginger, 1/3 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves. And then I'm going to add 1/8 of a cup, which I believe is 3 tablespoons of flour. Okay, now I'm going to mix this up. Okay, now I'm going to add 4 eggs, but I'm going to add them, or try to add them, one at a time. There's one. Until I get my KitchenAid mixer, I kind of have to stop and go. It will happen one day. It's on the bucket list. Oop, there's 2 and 3. That's okay, that's how we roll. Go ahead and add my 3rd, or 4th. Alright, so my eggs have been added. Now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of pumpkin. I know it's a lot of steps, but I promise it's worth it. I've never made a cheesecake I don't like. Now I'm just going to scrape down the edges and then give it one more good mix, just to make sure all of my ingredients are in there and mixed well. All right. Set that aside. Bring back our crust, and what we're going to do here, because I believe that you should be cooking cheesecakes in a bath. However, I don't have a roasting pan or a bath pan big enough for this thing, so my solution is I have a cookie sheet, and then when it's in the oven I will fill it with water. And now it will dry out, so you kind of have to add water to it about halfway through cooking, but that's okay. The price we pay for good cheesecake. All right, go ahead and pour that right on in there on top. Make sure you get all the filling in there. You don't want to waste any. Get a nice thick cheesecake. We'll probably be having the traditional pumpkin pie and traditional pecan pie, but I like to just up it a notch. Okay, I'm gonna jiggle my pan, kind of tap it lightly just to try to get any air bubbles out. Try to smooth it over. It's not gonna be perfect, it's homemade. That's okay. All right, to this, I'm going to go ahead and pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. Now, once the 15 minutes is up, you're gonna turn down your heat to 300 and bake it an additional 50 to 60 minutes. And you do wanna keep an eye on this. And like I said, once it's in the oven, I will be filling this cookie sheet with water so it kind of keeps the moisture in the pan. And hopefully, fingers crossed, when this comes out of the oven, I will have no cracks and it will be perfect and beautiful. But it's okay if it has cracks because I have a solution that no one will ever see if it doesn't come out perfect. So stay tuned and I will bring you back when we come out of the oven. Okay guys, we're back. My cheesecake has baked for, I believe I had this one in for 55 minutes. I took it out, I let it cool. This is probably about 10 minutes after it's been out. I have run a knife around the edge, all the way around, because as it cools, it will actually be shrinking and and moving within itself. And as you notice, there are no cracks in my cheesecake, and I'd like to try to keep it that way, which it still could crack in the cooling process, and if it does, that's okay. We're not going to beat ourselves up over that. So run your knife around your edge about 10 to 15 minutes after you've taken it out of the oven. Now that it's out of the oven and I run my knife around, we're going to let it come completely to room temperature, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours, but preferably at least 8 hours overnight. And once it's cooled and chilled for those about 3 to 8 hours, then we'll take the ring off and we'll put our topping on. So I will bring you back then. Okay guys, we're back. My cheesecake has chilled in the refrigerator overnight, and I'm just gonna run my butter knife along the edges one more time, maybe a couple more times. This is always the scariest part of a cheesecake, taking off that the outer ring here and hoping that it's set up well. All right, I feel confident. Go ahead and unlatch the circle part of your springform pan and kind of just slowly let it slide away. All right, that's always what you want to see. Now I'm going to carefully but confidently place it on my cake stand. All right. Now, as you can see, mine did not have any cracks in it. However, if yours does, do not be dismayed. We can always fix that. To the top of my cheesecake, I've just got a, it's that whip topping. Cool Whip would work here. I just am using what was available to me at my grocery store for a lot less. I'm gonna just kind of slide that across the top. And if you have any cracks in your cheesecake, it will hide everything. Maybe a butter knife might be working better for me here. And it doesn't have to look perfect because we're not done yet. I promise your cheesecake will look beautiful. And if it does look a little not so beautiful, you know what? That's how everyone can tell it's homemade. And homemade things are made with love. Took me a long time to figure out the science of a cheesecake. All right. I've got the first layer of my whipped cream or Cool Whip, I have diced up or granulated 4 ginger snap cookies, and I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top. This will add some texture and some flavor, kind of give it that holiday taste to it. Let's see how well that Cool Whip layer kind of hides whatever cracks you've got going on underneath. And if you wanted to skip this part and show off your perfectly topped cheesecake, by all means, go ahead. That's not easy to do. I've been making cheesecakes now for, maybe 8 years, maybe longer. And I still get cracks on mine. Okay, to kind of zhuzh it up even more, I've got a can of the, the whipped cream that comes out of the can. And this is kind of like a foolproof way. Kind of in the middle. And then I'm just gonna, around the edges. See, no cake decorating experience required. And then to even kind of up the game even more, I'm just going to put a ginger snap right in the middle of that peak. Now I'm wondering if maybe I should do all the way around. I don't know. I will leave that up to you guys. Do you think we should go all the way around? I'm going to kind of lop off this. There we go. I don't know. I think he's looking pretty good as is. All right, there you have it. There is your pumpkin cheesecake. I hope you guys give this a try. It is so good, and your guests will love this. I know if they like cheesecake and they like pumpkin pie, this is the best of both worlds. For me personally, when I make my cheesecake this year, I'm going to be baking it the day before Thanksgiving, so that way it has all night to set up in the refrigerator, and then all I have to do the next morning is make it pretty. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and if you like what I do here even more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be trying to do quite a few more cooking videos, maybe some cleaning, some DIYs, I don't know, whatever strikes my fancy, I guess. But that is all for my Thanksgiving dinner series lineup. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving.